This episode we're taking another trip to the Japanese side of the world of the Transformers for a look at the history of the bot whose name says it all, the Decepticon Emperor of Destruction, DEATHSAURUS. DEATHSAURUS was the Decepticon leader of the 1989 Japanese original series, Transformers Victory. He transformed into a bird-like dragon monster, and was a member of the Decepticon subgroup known as the Breast Force. Each robot in this group had a removable chest plate that triple-changed into a weapon for them to wield, and an animal robot called a breast animal. As the largest figure in the range, DEATHSAURUS' unique gimmick was that he had two breast animals, Tiger Breast and Eagle Breast. Infamously, DEATHSAURUS' name used to be a source of some confusion for English-speaking fans. Its unconventional Japanese spelling, DEATHSAURUS, causing debate about exactly how it should be interpreted in English. Many options were put forward over the years, but DEATHSAURUS was always the most popular, and in 2015, original toy designer Kojin Ono confirmed that it was always the name's intended meaning. The profile that came with DEATHSAURUS' toy described him as a savage, cruel warlord who despised humans, but who had an unusual soft spot for children. The Victory cartoon chose not to explore that latter aspect of his personality. In the series, set in the year 2025, DEATHSAURUS set out to steal the energy of Earth in order to re-energize his planet-destroying fortress, long ago sealed away in the dark nebula by his arch-rival, Autobot leader Starsaber. He would typically only go into battle to take on Starsaber himself. Otherwise, he left a lot of the fighting to his underlings, who he would happily sacrifice if their usefulness to him ever ran out. His minions included the other members of the Breast Force, who could combine into the giant robot Liokaiser, and whose commander Leozak was a young upstart constantly scheming to overthrow DEATHSAURUS and take his place as Emperor. DEATHSAURUS was a fearsome warrior, armed with the deadly, living metal-destroying cannon, with which he memorably killed the Autobot god Jinrai, but he was ultimately defeated by Starsaber in their final showdown, and his deactivated body was sent drifting off into space. DEATHSAURUS' story unfolded significantly differently in the Victory manga. In this version of the tale, DEATHSAURUS had been rivals with Starsaber since they were very young bots. His fondness for children led him to take in an orphaned human boy named Solon, repairing his wounded body with cybernetics and raising him as a Decepticon. However, the Autobots and their human allies were able to convince Solon to embrace his human heritage, turn against his adopted father, and join them in defending the planet of his birth. In sharp contrast to the heartless character of the cartoon, in the manga, it turned out that DEATHSAURUS was only stealing energy to protect and care for the Decepticons' non-combatant families, including his own wife, Esmeralda. Realizing that he had only done evil in pursuit of a noble goal, Starsaber extended the hand of peace to his childhood friend, and DEATHSAURUS accepted, the two joining forces to build a better future together. In 1992, DEATHSAURUS' toy was recolored and re-released in another Japanese super robot toy line, the brave fighter of legend, Dagarn, as an evil alien mecha named Red Geist. But DEATHSAURUS himself wouldn't have a major role in Transformers again for a long time, his only notable appearance in the 15 years that followed Victory being his Western media debut, a single-panel cameo in a Dreamwave Productions comic book in 2004. That changed in 2005, when a new toy of DEATHSAURUS was released exclusively at official convention BotCon. A recolor of the 2001 Robots in Disguise Megatron toy, the figure was a six-changer, representing an upgraded version of DEATHSAURUS who could now transform from robot to bat, jet, two-headed dragon, dragster, and giant hand. This incarnation of DEATHSAURUS appeared in the convention's exclusive comic book, attempting to clone an army of Insecticons for himself. Later, between 2010 and 2011, he featured in a flashback storyline in the Transformers Collectors Club comic, set 9 million years in the past, which reimagined him as an early Decepticon warlord and the inventor of combiner technology, who was overthrown and banished from Cybertron by Megatron as part of his rise to power. Outside of BotCon, DEATHSAURUS hasn't had the greatest luck when it comes to toys. A few model kits and figurines of him have been released in Japan, and a super deformed Robot Heroes figure was designed for 2008's Transformers Universe toy line, but it was cancelled. DEATHSAURUS did finally get another new toy in the Combiner Wars line in 2016, but it was a recolor of the Combiner Wars Skylynx figure, and so bore almost no resemblance to the original character, transforming from a four-legged dragonbird monster into a space shuttle. Sold under the name DEATHSAURUS, because Hasbro weren't going to put the word death in the name of a toy for children, he came in a set with other members of the Breast Force, with whom he could now combine to form a new version of Liokaiser. Safe to say, this figure didn't exactly fulfill the desires of fans hoping for a true updated DEATHSAURUS toy, and unfortunately, to date, that still hasn't happened. He was one of the candidates in an official poll that let fans vote for a character to get a new toy in 2018's Power of the Primes line, but he lost out to Optimus Primal. But despite his absence from toy aisle shelves, DEATHSAURUS has continued to appear in various pieces of media. In 2015, he joined the world of IDW Publishing's comic books, which drew on DEATHSAURUS' more compassionate characterization from the Victory manga to depict him as a Decepticon general who genuinely cared for the bots under his command, and who had gone rogue because he couldn't tolerate how Megatron mistreated his troops. When Megatron abandoned Decepticonism and joined the Autobots, DEATHSAURUS and his forces agreed to join the Decepticon Justice Division in finding and killing their former leader. But in the ensuing battle, the Autobots hit DEATHSAURUS with a psychic weapon that amplified his guilt over the toll the fight was taking on his men, leading him to withdraw and leave the DJD to take Megatron on alone. When IDW rebooted their comic book universe in 2019, DEATHSAURUS was featured again, this time as an interplanetary ambassador in the era before the war. A cruel bot who only travelled to other worlds for the chance to amuse himself by inflicting suffering on the natives, he attempted to pillage the energy of the planet Probat, but was stopped by Cliffjumper. He was later killed by the mad tyrant Exarchon when his evil spark possessed DEATHSAURUS' body. In 2016, DEATHSAURUS was added to the Earth Wars mobile game and went on to serve as a major recurring antagonist in its story, striving to create his own new loyal combiner. In 2020, the game's writer, Simon Furman, would even add DEATHSAURUS to the world of the original Marvel Transformers comic book, when he included him in the prequel miniseries Secrets and Lies, battling Starsaber during the War on Cybertron 4 million years ago. From cruel to kind and back again, that's the story of DEATHSAURUS so far. But with a new Starsaber toy coming as part of the Legacy line in 2022, fans are still hoping that a true modern DEATHSAURUS toy will follow it, so the two arch-rivals can finally cross swords again. And those are the basics on DEATHSAURUS. Where did you first encounter this big bad bot? Let me know in the comments. For more history and lore from the Transformers universe, remember to like and subscribe, and if you support the show on Patreon, you'll get early access to new episodes.